rules of assigning oxidation number. So this is sort of the very basic knowledge that you need to know to go on and do oxidation reduction problems. And here are those rules, and now let's look at some examples of how we're going to apply these rules. Let's go down here. So first, let's look at a compound that has lithium and oxygen in it. All right. What do I know about lithium's oxidation number? What's it going to be? +1. So things in group 1 are going to be +1. And I have 2 of them. So we're going to be using one of those rules up there to assign it. What about oxygen? What's oxygen going to be in this molecule? -2. So it's not in a peroxide here, so it'll be -2. And then we have +2 minus 2 is equal to 0. And that's good because there's no charge on this particular molecule. So all of the oxidation numbers should add up to 0. That's also one of our rules. All right, so let's look at PCl5. So what do we know about oxidation number of chloride? What are you guessing? -1. What's the exception to that? When it's with what? When it's with oxygen, it can be different. All right, so there are 5 of those. I haven't told you anything about phosphorus, but what can you guess it's going to be? 5. I love that enthusiasm. Good. So it will be 5, and so overall we're going to add up to 0. So you won't always have a rule about everything in your molecule, but you'll be given something that you can get a handle on and then predict what the other thing is going to be. So let's do a couple more. So what about HNO3? So let's start with oxygen. You told me about oxygen. What's oxygen going to be here? -2, and there are 3 of those. And we need to have this all add up to 0 again. So what about hydrogen? +1. What's the exception to that rule? When it's with a metal. So what does that leave for nitrogen? +5. And that'll all add up. All right, so you're very good at this, so let's bring in that clicker competition, and you can tell me about this molecule. All right, 10 seconds. Excellent. Not necessarily for the competition, since most people got it right, but I loved seeing people get it right. So 2 times +1 minus 2 is 0, so we know our states here. And I'll just tell you another thing you can do in doing these problems. If you recognize that something is often seen as a unit here, you can also think about this as H plus and NaNO3 minus, and you would get the same answers to the problem. So if it's a little complicated and you want to break it apart, you can do that too. You'll get the same answers there. All right. So as I said, in this unit, it's a lot of adding and subtracting.